Hello everyone, I'm Eileen, and I'm an English teacher in Luye Junior High School in Taiwan, which is located eastern Taiwan. And there, my school is key Aboriginal school, and there are 80% Aboriginals in my class. And third, there are 9th graders, and there are about 60% students are low income and middle low income household. Okay. Their background of learning English. Students lack confidence to speak English. I think the reason might be they seldom speak English outside the classroom, and they lack cultural stimuli. I will introduce one of the activities in my class. The main activity is tableau. Students work in small groups and try to create a snapshot. Every student in the same team has to be in a picture, and students are not allowed to use words in a picture. And that picture, one of the students say, "I'm an apple tree," the other student go for picking apple. And next one, the other activity we are swimming. The two teachers will do a sport lesson using Zoom, and we are the student in the bottom is a bike. So my job is helping students to make sure their picture face the audience and encourage students to think about using different labels with their body shape. One student high and the other student middle, and the other students low. And we keep the whole picture dynamic. Not the same, not all the students use the same posture and gesture. So next, we encourage students to practice getting into a position and freeze like a picture. And the rest of the class try to guess what the group perform. Okay, because my students are 9th grader, initially I thought they might be too shy to perform because junior high school, their attitude to there are too many things to have to think about. But actually, when we do the lesson, when we do the tableau activity, they really enjoy the activity at all. And to my surprise, even if some students are shy, but they still try their best to discuss with each other about how to perform and how to act. So therefore, I think never underestimate students' abilities, and developing creativity in the classroom is very important. Using their bodies to learn English, it will make the English class more fun, and group work is very important. And they get the students to work together and think about how to accomplish the task. So next one, I will talk about the inquiry project. When in the USA, I think why that is concern me. So because there is no speaking test in formal exam for junior high school, and speaking is a neglected language skill in Taiwan. So English is a very important tool for communication. So what kind kind of new ideas I learned in the program and that I might be able to use. I use three kind of method ideas, and one is read aloud. Students read aloud their sentences, and two, the second is hand flower power, like word guessing of handman. Okay, the third is role play. When we do a food lesson, we do some role play to order some food in the restaurant. Okay, so I do data collection and analysis to collect some video tapes and student worksheet and feedback. I collect some worksheets and I bring them to the other room so you can take a look at it. And keep teacher journal after call lesson. And in the end, I do a tiny survey, use the questionnaire. That's the current result for my students' preference through the questionnaire. First of all, the listening comprehension. This is the first lesson, and so far, 50% students think their listening comprehension only 50, and in the first lesson, and so far their listening comprehension is increased. And the other table is the improvement after call lesson. So most of the students think their listening is improved through the call lesson because this is 64. And we switch to the students' preference toward learning English. Most of the students, they think they are willing to learn English and speak English. I will show you one clip. It is a student in a classroom.
Very good. What you kind of moved to a sentence. You want to share your really good sentence?
I go to 7-Eleven to buy candy and share it with my friend.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very good.
Wow.
It's just a tiny video because
Very good. What you kind of
because he is a shy boy. He used to be a shy boy in the classroom. He never speak, but in the classroom and he speak up and louder than me. I think it's a very cherish the experience because he talked to Denise directly and he has a good pronunciation, I think. Yeah, I think it's very wonderful. And next, we talk about our call lesson. Our topic is the weather, sports, 7-Eleven, and Christmas and food. 2 lessons share one topic. Denise teacher in the first lesson and student do tiny presentation in the next lesson. Student and Denise show their own photos to each other, make the situation more authentic. And students need to finish their worksheet during lesson. They have to focus on what we talk about, what we teach. Yeah, so that's the picture. We do call lesson. So the main activities in my class lessons is divided into 3 parts: flower power, bingo, and tableau. 10-second object. And next, I will talk about some difficulties about my class lesson. One is emergency. One time, Denise called me and she said, "Oh, she cannot connect to the internet," and I'm panicked because we are going to have a class lesson. So, but finally we decided to use iPhone to finish the lesson. But I think emergency is a problem, and we have to solve it, fix it immediately. And the second part is equipment, because I'm not good at electronic equipment. So I have to try over and over again before my class lesson. Also, thanks to my colleague to help me set up all equipment. And the third part is time differences. When to discuss with class partner. That's important because I only have to talk to Denise in the morning and about 10 or 11 at night. Yeah, that's the time we have. We only have the time. And translation or not in the classroom. That's very big issue in Taiwan's English classroom because students don't understand what the teacher say. The lesson would not move on smoothly because we don't translate, and that's just the lesson will stop. So I'm still struggling about that. And the fifth part, I think every Taiwanese teacher is very struggling with the teaching schedule in school because I'm always behind in my teaching schedule in my class. Yeah, especially when Denise came to my school, I stopped all my teaching schedule because I want to all the classes I taught. They can have 1 or 2 lessons with Denise to experience the foreign culture and foreign teacher. So, but that most of the importance, I think this is worthy to do that. So behind my teaching schedule is it doesn't matter. Yeah. And class lesson, I still learning by doing and I can realize students' needs during the lesson. And because I'm a co-teacher in the classroom, I can check students' understanding in a class lesson. So the next, students learn by cooperating. And students, they don't finish the task alone. They have to discuss with each other in groups. And I think it's helpful for them. And learn English beyond textbooks. I think students will be more engaging in the classroom because the content is beyond textbook. They will broaden students' horizon because one of my topic is 7-Eleven. We compare, we do a little comparison between 7-Eleven in Taiwan and in the US. Students, they will motivate students to learn something beyond the textbook. They will try to check in the internet and translate some specific word in English. For example, ordain. And ordain of what? Mailbox or something like that. Okay, so that motivates students to learn English attentively. So every time we have the cloud lesson, that's a cross-cultural learning. That's a cross-cultural learning, and we can learn how to communicate with native speaker. Also, that's a challenging for me and for the students. I have to overcome all the difficulties to apply the project, but I still think it's worthy to apply the project, and it's a self-improvement, and I can get more ideas about how to teach English through games, dramas, role playing, and other pedagogies. And because of time, so in the end, I want to say, because of a project, I get unforgettable memories, even in Taiwan or in the US. I meet a great partner, Denise, and Tom, of course, and Tom, of course. And I have a great time in the US, and I have an awesome teaching experience with Denise and my school. My school all love her, and give her a present and big heart. Without me, they decide to give her a gift, secretly. Yeah. So I think that's an awesome experience. Okay, thank you everyone.
Okay, my name is Tom, and this is the background of my school. There are only 10 classes in my school with 160 students, and the languages spoken in my school are Mandarin, Chinese, Taiwanese, Hakka, and Bunun. And 70% of the students are from low socioeconomic families, and most of them are from single-parent families or grandparent families. And the background of my cloud lesson, there are 8 graders, there are only 20 students in my class, and 8 students failed in the English test of prior activity, 就是要学测验. So most of them, half of them are low English learners, okay, low achievers, and they have low motivation toward English learning. And I want to introduce one activity in my class, that is the tableau strategy, which means living picture. That is, students create a still picture without talking and to capture and communicate the meaning of the concept. And they use physical poses, gestures, or facial expression rather than words. I'm an old pop people. Sorry. And this is the tableau. Can you guess what are the students doing? They are playing baseball. Good. Everyone can be better. Okay. And I'll show you one video. So guess what they are doing. Okay, what are they doing? Yeah. Okay, see? Through the action, students can, even if they cannot know how to speak English well, they can do that sports well through the action. And we also use Tableau in the topic of 7-Eleven. It is integrated in a bingo game, and the prompts for the bingo are as follows. We ask students to spell a kind of little drink that they get in 7-Eleven, or make a sentence with the word or just ask the student to list 2 kinds of drinks that are sweet from 7-Eleven. And those are, or we also ask them to perform the food like the instant noodles or the rice bowl from in group. Okay, and can you guess what they are doing in this picture? What? In 7-Eleven? No washing machine in 7-Eleven. A kind of food. A kind of food. Yes. No. Instant noodles. This is the bowl and noodles, chopsticks. Okay. And this activity, the use of tableau in bingo include listening, because students have to listen to the next question carefully. And also sometimes students have to write down their words on the whiteboard, and they have to speak to read their answer now to teacher Denise, and also include tableau in this bingo game. And the strength of this tableau is that it engages all the students and caters for different types of learners, especially for kinesthetic learners, and also allows students to be creative while they are strengthening their comprehension in a certain concept or words. And on my inquiry project, originally I had 3 research questions. But the first 2, I will present the first 2, and I will skip the third one because I haven't finished my cloud project, and the third research question is for the overall survey of students' perception toward the cloud lessons. Okay. Time's up? Okay, and how we decide our topic for the cloud lesson. First, before we went to WW, we made a survey for students' need analysis, and then we took the result of the survey, and we discussed our partners, Denise and Eileen, and we finalized our topics as part of that, weather for 7-Eleven, Christmas, and food. And each topic was divided into 2 parts. For example, 7-Eleven in America, and also 7-Eleven in Taiwan. This is like a cross-cultural learning. That's why we define our topic as cross-cultural learning in cloud lessons. And this is like research instrument. It's a learning journal. I ask students to scale how they perceive the degree of learning difficulty in today's lesson, and also their learning interest after each lesson. And I also have open-ended questions for the students. And this is the result of my inquiry. As you can see, the degree of learning difficulty. This is the mean score from the Likert 5-point scale. And well, students perceive the topic weather part 1 more difficult. Maybe it's the first time they had this lesson, but you can see that the degree of learning difficulty decrease along the cloud lessons. And also their learning interest, you can see that the mean scores on their learning interests are above the median score, which means that they all perceive that lessons are interesting, especially for sports and also 7-Eleven. For our class cloud lessons, before the lessons, we discuss lesson plan with our partner, and we try to relate the lesson to students' daily life so that the lessons are more authentic to the students. And we also try to put more authentic pictures, and we also have visual aids to make the input more comprehensible. We also consider the learner's factor in the cloud lesson, and we also have to deal with technology problem. And if you have a problem, you can ask for help from colleagues. And during the lessons, you have to consider your seat arrangement. This is the way that I usually arrange my class lesson in a U shape. Okay, this can help you to maximize student and teachers interaction, and also can engage every student. And important thing is that you have to make worksheet for students during each lesson, so that you get students to do something, or otherwise they will get distracted. Yeah, and you also have to try to bring up backup activities for each lesson. And after the lesson, I ask the students to write down their learning journals, and this can be for your ink project, and if you are pursuing your further degree, and you can also conduct a study on this, because you can collect a lot of data from this project. And we also have to write down our teaching journals. And I usually share my students' reflection with my partners, and I ask the student to write down their reflection for the lesson, and we post out reflection on the Facebook. Also share my reflection with my partners through Line. And my reflection about this project is that I got the professional knowledge in teaching, and also I learned a lot of activities that can motivate my students. And most important of all, I achieved my American dream, and I had a chance to experience the culture in America, and I also had a lot of excursion in America. And I think this is the most important one. I can have the chance to make a lot of new friends, whether it is from Taiwan or America. Done. And now let's welcome my partner, Denise.
Hello. Hi, I'm Denise. So I did my...
I'm gonna not use this because I think I'm gonna shout into the microphone. So I don't want to make it down. So I did my cloud project with Tom and Eileen, like we just met. And it was a really good learning experience for me, particularly because teaching is kind of like a second career for me, because I used to be a mental health case manager. So it's very different. So I learned a lot about teaching students from other cultures and just about myself. So it was a really good experience. So some of the main things I learned, first one is keep the lesson simple. You know, when you're doing the TESOL courses, they teach you about all the PSYOP methods and different ways of teaching, and you try to incorporate all of those methods into each lesson, but that's actually pretty unrealistic. So I learned that, you know, just match your lesson with the student's proficiency level. And I had an experience at Eileen's school where we did the Christmas lesson, but we didn't adjust the level of difficulty. So a lot of the students kind of just looked at Eileen and she had to translate for them. And I would say a lot of things and they would just kind of look at me with like look on their face. So really knowing the students is very important, and keeping the lesson simple. It doesn't mean it's a bad lesson, it just means that you're trying to make it work for them. So I learned that, very important lesson in real life. And then 7-Eleven, as we mentioned, was a very popular lesson. The students, especially at Tom's school, really love to eat. So they're always eating, they're always going to Tom's office and asking for snacks. And Tom is very kind and he always has snacks for them. So maybe he's enabling this happen. But 7-Eleven was very popular, and it was really great to see the students excited to learn because it was a topic that is relevant to them. They hang out at 7-Eleven, they like to buy snacks, and they were excited to show me their favorite foods from 7-Eleven. It was really funny. We also had a food lesson at Tom's class, and a lot of students brought their favorite foods and let me try it. And they love food so much. One of the students brought 2 things from 7-Eleven, but he only let me try 1 thing, and he took it away and he ate it at his desk. So their love of food was very obvious. But it was great to hear from them what they like and see them participate. And they also taught me the Chinese words for the food. So I think that was good for them to see me struggle with pronouncing the Chinese names, because a lot of them were still very shy. They did not want to talk to me, and they're very afraid of making mistakes. Even though I tell them it's okay to make mistakes, that's how we learn. So I think it was good that they see me struggle with Chinese, because I know 0 Chinese, even though many students love I speak Chinese. So another thing I learned about the students is that they really want to learn about you, so having the authentic pictures really helped, and I really enjoyed seeing their pictures from their lives, like when they did a sports lesson, they showed me what sports they like to play, and they just like to learn about your life, so that leads into this asterisk, the relationship with the teacher. They will ask you anything, and they'll ask your age, are you married, where you're from, anything. So it was just really interesting culturally that that's okay to ask, because I think in the States we realize that students don't ask those kinds of things. So it's okay that they asked me that, but it was just a cultural learning curve for me. And also, I thought it was really sweet how close they are with their homeroom teacher. Tom and Eileen have both homeroom teachers, so it was really sweet to see that relationship that they have. They really love both of them. Like Eileen's students really love Eileen, and Tom's students really love Tom. And just to see how close they are, and I think part of that bond is built because they have lunch with their students every day, and I did not know that about Chinese, Taiwanese schools. So I think that really helps. They can have casual conversation with their students every day and just grow closer with their students. So I thought that was really sweet. And so we did, at Eileen's school, we did a Christmas exchange. And Eileen's birthday celebration, which Eileen's birthday is today, so happy birthday to Eileen. And it was so sweet. They love Eileen so much that they planned a surprise party for her. And they built that into the Christmas exchange. So they brought her cake, and they had a really touching video for her. And just that whole relationship, again, is just so sweet, and they think of her kind of as a mom for taking care of her. So I can see how great of a teacher Eileen is, because her students really love her. So they were also very sweet to me, which I was nervous about teaching middle schoolers, because, they're teenagers, and we've got a lot of hormones raging, so I was really worried about that. But they're so sweet and innocent, and I think they're very different from students in the U.S. at this age. Not to say anything bad about American students, but they're just very innocent and sweet, so I really enjoyed teaching them and spending time with them. As for myself, it was a really good professional development, because as I said, I was working in a completely different field before this. So I used to work with mentally ill adults. So keeping the boundaries was something I was very strict about. I don't tell them anything about my personal life. I don't tell them where I live or anything like that. It's strictly work. So sharing information about myself was something new and different, but I was received very warmly. And Sadie and Luke talked about the Bellingham promise and loving each student. I felt like the students made that promise to me, because I felt really loved by them. So it was a very heartwarming experience for me. And another thing about what I learned about teaching in Taiwan, that in hindsight, which we could have incorporated into our lessons, is just learning and teaching more about culture. I think a lot of the students, they see this face and they think, oh, she can speak Chinese, but I can't speak any Chinese at all. So that was something I had to overcome and keep explaining to people that I'm not Chinese and I don't speak Chinese. And it's fine to explain that, but I think in hindsight, that would have been a really good opportunity to teach them about America and how America has many different immigrants and people from different countries. And I think they learn that anyway in school, but to apply that idea in real life, I think might be different. So I think I would have liked to talk more about that if I had realized that. So this is just some pictures from our time when we arrived in Taiwan. We first came to Taipei, and we have a Din Tai Fung. I'm not sure if I'm going to yeah, in Seattle, but we wanted to go to the original one, so we had a very good lunch there. And the menu is a little different, so it was still a good experience. And we tried some different street foods and just explored some areas of Taipei. And we went to a lake and the night market. And then I went to Eileen's school via airplane, and she took me around to see the ocean, and we went to an open air market, which was really cool, and I guess hot air balloons are a big thing in her town, so we got to see that. And this student, he was so sweet. He's not even a student in Eileen's main cloud class, but he had made me a wooden paintbrush. So again, that just shows how sweet these students are and how kind and welcoming they are. I wasn't expecting that. And then I went to Tom's school. Tom's area, and he took me around, and we went to Minong Lake, and that's very beautiful. I think Taiwan is a very beautiful island, and it kind of reminds me of home because I grew up in Hawaii, and there's a lot of green and mountains, so it's very beautiful. And we went to, this is the temple right in front of the hotel that I stayed at, and Tom took me there, and he showed me the procedures of what you do at the temple. So I had a really good time. Like everyone keeps saying, all the teachers were very hospitable, and everyone else too. Like Eileen's school took me out to dinner, and that was fun. And Tom's mom made a really nice dinner my first night, and they kept stuffing me with food. But it was all very good food, so I had a good time, and I really enjoyed working with Tom and Eileen. They're very great partners, they're very professional. They made my job really easy, so it almost felt like I wasn't doing anything, and I had to think, am I doing everything I'm supposed to be doing? Because they were so great at making